We're just poking out here towards the straight track now. It's 1,000 metres fence to fence. This little horse, he's just cantering 8 straights today. Nothing special. He's just had a little injury, so all he does is work up and down the straight. When we're fast working, we'll clock about 800, roughly. Whoa! If we were fast working, this would be where we'd be pulling up. Just depending on how wet it is, whether the little swamp up there gets water in it or not. We'll either just walk here for about between 1.5 minutes and 2.5 minutes, just depending on how hard our heats have been. On a typical fast work day for a racehorse, we'd warm up 5 laps on the round track, which is 800 metres, and then start into 6 heats on the straight track. We clock, it's a bit over 800, and it's just more going on feel, and we just like to see him work 6 heats around 110. And on heat 4 and heat 6, on the way back to the shed, we'll let them pull out and stride up. And it's not always about how fast they go, but it's more how they do it. And when you get them to pull out here on the run home, if you can have 2 horses work together, and you'll have one horse on a real strong rein and the other horse is just asking, there's a big difference in how each horse is going. You'll find the horse that's on a strong rein is going a hell of a lot better than the horse that's getting asked to finish off his heat. Whoa! Just up this end, we'll just walk around for between the same 1.5 minutes and 2.5 minutes, just depending on where the horses are in their preparation and how hard the heat has been. The fitter they are, and the further into the preparation, the less we walk between heats. Whoa! In a lot of our videos, and you might see at the track when we're driving or whatever, you'll hear us shout out, whoa! And we place a big emphasis, with training our horses to respond to that. Anytime we want them to ease up, and that come from Chris Finocio, who worked for me for a period, and he bought that from Chris Lang, and they really need to respond to that and to come back to you when you do say whoa, especially with this heat work. They've got to learn to back off and relax and walk around, and the majority of the horses don't take too long to take to that and realise that when you are shouting out whoa, happy to come back to you. And it's a great thing for them to be able to do when they do learn that, and to learn to switch off and just walk before you ask them to go again. And if they won't come back to you the first time, if I'm saying to anyone, the next is you be louder and you be stronger. And they soon seem to learn to come back to you, and it's critical for them when they finish each heat that they don't run way too past the line, and because obviously at each end there's not a great deal of room to pull up, but also just for them to relax and get their breath back between heats. Whoa! With the use of the straight track, it's been a great tool for us, especially with gating up horses and horses that have been unsound. I'm not sure we're anywhere near close to working out exactly the best way to use it, but we've just been pretty open as to how we should use it and what works best. There's always tinkering as to how we do it, and asking many different people how they use their tracks, and even what works best with each horse. And I'm sure as time goes on, we'll continue to refine the way we use it and find different ways to utilise a straight track. And it's not the be all and end all, but we find it's been a great tool for our stable. They don't necessarily go better than they ever have, but some horses it's helped them stay sounder, and some horses it's put a little bit more speed into them. see here some of the paddocks that we utilise as spelling paddocks. The fence don't look too great in that one with the tree falling down over it last weekend, but these paddocks enable us to put them down, you know, in a bush environment, and they seem to let down and do really well. We use them a lot between races as well, just to give a horse a weekend or 3 or 4 days after a race, just to recuperate, freshen up between races. Whoa! One of the great things I love about this place is the bush. We'll just go for a tinker around our little bush track. It's not always ideal to use through the winter because some of these low spots fill up with water, and we use it as a plough or as just a dirt track all year round. At some stage, when the time permits, we'll get it built up so we can use it all around. But the bush, we love to utilise the bush with a lot of our horses where we ride them through the bush, and you can sort of see there's a few tracks here and there, and even just to send them off the beaten track and make them concentrate on something completely different rather than just going round and round a track. And we've had a lot of luck with old horses and horses that can be a little bit difficult to deal with or just have a quirky trait. Send them through the bush with a rider and make them actually look where they got to go and where they got to place their feet. There's plenty of things for them to really make them concentrate in there, and there's always the odd kangaroo or something bouncing through, and it can be so great for their mindset. But also just to make them utilise different muscles on their body. We've had a lot of luck with the trotters, making them hunt through the bush and actually have to pick up their back legs properly, walking over logs and things like that. And you know, sometimes they'll go out and they'll trip over and whatever, but they soon learn to just start to pick up their legs and can really help build up the different muscles that sometimes have wasted away on the round track. And just another tool that we have available to us that not only is great for the horse, but for the riders and the people as well. And even this little jog track around and between the bush, especially through the summer on a hot day with the shade, and because it's so peaceful down here, you can come and get lost for what seems like not very long at all and get back to the stable, and all of a sudden you've been away an hour and the horse doesn't even know he's been for work. You'll see these low spots, you know, get a bit of water in them, and even some bad horses, we bring them down here and make them actually go through the whole water, and it just makes them think about something different. Through the summer, this track will just rip up and just provides a lovely kind surface and makes them just do that little bit extra work. But all through this bush, yeah, the girls just love coming down here and riding horses, and sometimes if you need a little bit of time out, saddle one up and come down here and spend an hour by yourself and have a little reset. It's all private bush, part of the family farm, and wasn't really by design, but just where we set up, and it's just been a fantastic asset to have for the stable. One of the big positives of living where we do, although we can get quite wet in winter, the temperatures are, pretty stable. We don't get the super cold. We do get a lot of wind, but through the autumn, spring and summer months, we're so lucky to have such good grass and feed available, and great consistent rainfall that a lot of the time we have green grass for our horses to spell on and to go out and enjoy during the day. We come back now, coming beside our round track, you'll see all the inside of the track is fenced into paddocks, and that's where all our mares live. The majority of those live out there full time. We find, in pairs, they do be really, really happy. Yes, in winter it can get quite wet, but they seem to do quite well out there and race consistently, which is the main thing. Whoa! And we can look to this block out to our right. It's all just been sown down to new pasture, and that's a block that we've added to our stable that we're going to set up into smaller paddocks for some of the race horses and bigger paddocks for spallers and agistment and broodmares.